There's a condition that executives and entrepreneurs sometimes get. It's almost like an illness, and I'm betting you have it too. It's called the innovation bug. The problem is your team will often act like an immune system and try and resist what you're doing and attack new ideas, not realizing that the excitement that you have is actually what's going to move the company forward. This is a common problem that you face as you strive to become an EXO, internal resistance. Before I joined Peter Diamandis at Singularity University, I was the head of innovation at Yahoo, and I learned a fundamental lesson in my career, which is that if you attempt disruptive innovation in any large organization, the immune system will attack you. Because when you start introducing the kinds of elements of EXOs, like rewarding failure, experimenting like crazy, our teams struggle to understand these patterns. They try and fight these new structures like white blood cells battle a virus. What they're used to you saying is, hey, walk 30 feet and take one step and another step and another step. And it's very easy to predict where is a third or two-thirds of the way in that prediction, in that projection, right? But when you say, okay, we're gonna really dramatically double 2, 4, 6, 8, at step 30, we've actually gone 1 billion steps. And this is why teams are deeply uncomfortable with this kind of change. It literally boggles their mind. They can't gauge where is 1/3 or 2/3 of the way on an exponential curve up to 1 billion. There's an old quote by David Rose, one of our faculty, who said any organization or company designed for success in the 20th century is doomed to failure in the 21st. Because we're seeing this juxtaposition between linear organizations and exponential ones. Disruption is fast becoming the way companies do business, and especially exponential organizations. With new technologies like self-driving cars, the blockchain, artificial intelligence, services like Uber or Airbnb are demonetizing traditional industries. You will face a lot of resistance because implementing this exponential organization thinking goes against our old instincts that change is dangerous. And the way you get organizations to adapt to this is very simple. You do incremental change at the core, and you do the build your EXO at the edge of the business, pointing outwards. It's very difficult to implement some of these techniques into the existing organization. There's a number of ways of combating the resistance that will come from your team, but the easy one that we recommend strongly is do not do disruptive innovation inside the core organization. Do incremental change with the mothership. Do disruptive change at the edge, pointing away. So if you want to build an EXO with an existing team, take your crazy change makers to the edge of the organization and build them off that. Trying to implement some of these ideas deep into the core organization are very, very difficult. Zappos tried to implement fully autonomous decision making, and they had enormous difficulty getting legacy thinkers across 1,500 people to try and implement that internally. It would have been much easier if they built a new entity at the edge, implemented these ideas at the edge, and then that becomes the new gravity center. So that's the way to think about it. Incremental change at the core, disruptive change at EXOs at the edge of the organization, which then become the new gravity center. Because today, disruption and chaos are becoming the new normal. So this isn't quite the uphill battle it used to be. Once you get started and you're able to build an EXO, the momentum can be incredible. Slack went from 0 to $1 billion valuation in 8 months. And you may not see that many zeros in your first year, but this is the kind of thing that's possible when you have an exponential organization. When you're ready to take the steps to implement EXO thinking into your organization and get insights on how does this implemented into startups or mid-market companies, or how do you retrofit this thinking into traditional organizations, there's a link to the blog post with much more information that you can use.